Welcome back to class, dear students. In this lesson, we will be discussing about introduction to HTML and web page structure. So this lesson is tailored for those embarking on their journey into the world of web development, especially in the context of Web3 technologies. It is designed for beginners regardless of whether you have prior coding experience or not. Remember, watching the lesson, which is what you are watching anyway. So we want to grab the fundamental concept of HTML, its role in web development, understanding basic structure of web development, and recognize how HTML form the backbone of web pages, especially in Web3. So don't forget, this lesson we are in AI enhanced Web3 front-end development course. So first, we want to learn about what is HTML before we now start going in depth, learning about the language, learning about the syntax, elements, and a lot of things, and putting them into practical use per each lesson. So why that is things to cover, let's first focus as a beginner. You never coded before, like, oh, HTML, I've heard about it, good. This it and what it really stand for as we learn here. So what is HTML? HTML means hyper, is like an acronym of hypertext markup language. It's the foundational language used to create and structure content on the web. When the Web 1, all this I've explained in the previous course for you as a beginner to blockchain and Web 1 to Web 3. So which I was able to analyze many of them here. As you can see it, Web 1, Web 2, Web 3. So go and ensure you've taken the course. Now, once you understand that HTML was the foundation, so it became indispensable when it comes to framing. So your HTML is something like you want to build a house, let's say a kind of a skyscraper or something, you usually need a very strong skeletal structure. Like, okay, even if it's not like that, at least 5-story building, you want to have a solid foundation. You want to have this frame, the pillar, and all those things, column, and all those things that will hold the house. So usually that's what will be built. Then before other things will be filled in. So that's what your HTML does. Your HTML is like those columns, those frame, those things that hold the house, that give the structure, that try to build it out. So usually it gives you idea what is about to happen, what is being built, but it doesn't actually bring the beauty. You can imagine the house maybe you live in now, the beautiful houses, mansions, skyscrapers you've seen in real life, or on TV or your phone or whatever. And if you remove the colors, the decorations, they won't look beautiful. They are just like pure blocks and bricks. So that is what HTML is. Usually, it doesn't carry beauty. It's majorly about to structure it. When you want to start beautifying the site, then that's when we talk about CSS, which will be the section 2 after this. So we are focusing on the first section 1. You take it step by step, which is first building the structure. It is after the structure is ready, then they now start painting, start designing and all those things to bring out the beauty inside the structure. So that's what HTML is about in a nutshell. And it is not usually seen as a programming language because it can't really do extensive programming tasks. It's majorly just to structure how your website will be. So it's called a markup language that defines the structure and layout of a web page by using various tags and attributes. In the realm of Web3, HTML remains a cornerstone. So even in Web3, because Web3 talk about decentralization or something, but usually the front end, the structure still gets built on or borrowed from Web2. So it's the same you are used to in Web2. So that's why it's essential. Then we talk about web page structure in HTML. A typical HTML document web page structure include several key components. We have the doc. Don't worry, everything will still go through the practical document, declaration, the HTML tag, the head section, the body section. So HTML file is saved using .html. So let's see something like this now, which we still work on. You see there's doc type, there's head. Everything you see here didn't just come to be. They are well structured. So that's what like a site is. Like web page structure is usually in HTML. Usually you have the document declaration like we saw on here. Then we have the head tag, the HTML tag, and all those things were structured. So and usually it is saved in .html, as you can see it. So for you to be able to, if you are working with Android, anything you download, Windows for example is .exe extension, file extension. And then if I think Android, what Android seems to skip my mind. So when you're working with HTML as well, each one, CSS, JavaScript, everyone have their own extension, which help the browser to beforehand knows that okay, this file I'm dealing with is not until it starts reading the code one by one. No, this thing I'm dealing with is HTML. So let me focus energy of resources that can read HTML. This is a JavaScript file. Let me focus. So it helps the browser a lot with all those stuff. So then that's the structure. Then when you talk about HTML comment, I usually encourage my students, make it as part of you. There are a lot of code out there that they are okay, they work, but they are very hard to contribute to because you will first do the work of the developer itself, because you will need to go and understand each code, which takes a lot of time. I just want to contribute a feature to already working code. I don't need to go and learn how this was done by just reading the comment. So comment is useful feature that allow developer to include explanatory notes in the code, which help other developers to know. Usually this is not displayed in your browser like you have seen. If you have here, you usually have it like, if I want to say, okay, this is header, I can just, there's a shortcut in VS Code. If you // you see, it turns it to a comment. Comment HTML comment here. So you can see it and look at those fireworks. Let me know, is it something or is it distracting you? So I just put it because at times when you are teaching and typing, students don't really easily know where you are, where the cursor is. So I pull up this power mode, which we installed in the previous one, and I set it to fireworks. So you can turn it to flames. See? It can be flames, it can be anything. So I just love the fireworks. So now that's us, by the way, and this is the comment. So you can see it is like grayed out, and the browser will know, okay, this gives information, but it's not expected to be run. So any developer that's working on your code can easily read and understand the code. Please make it an habit to comment your code as much as you can. So, and how do you do that when you are dealing, and commenting differs from one language to the other, either it is markup or programming language. For example, some of them use similar, but usually they have some slight difference. So when you want to comment on a CSS file, it's different from when you are commenting on an HTML file or a JavaScript file. So all those we also see them, but this is for HTML now. You can see this is a comment in HTML, And comment can be single or multi-line. It explains the purpose, temporary, disable code. So if I'm troubleshooting a code, I can comment that code out to know if it is that code that is the problem. So it's not just to tell people, it's also used for troubleshooting. Then provide instruction on warning to other developer working on the same code base. It include to-do note for future reference. So it can also be like a to-do. Like that to-do app extension we enter, we use comment so that it doesn't get wrong, but at the same time, any developer working with the code can have understand, oh, well, yeah, somebody is telling me that we need to do this or that. So it's important why they are not visible to end user and do not render in the browser. They are still part of the source code and can be viewed. As you can see it, they can be viewed by anyone that decide to read this source code or this code, that what we call the source code. The code that's like the source of your project. So they can always read it, either they are developer or not. So it's not meant to hide anything sensitive. That since it's running on in browser, don't forget, it takes people to just open this and then like inspect, and then bam, you begin to see it, HTML, you see it, your browser, everything. So they can easily see the secret text you put there because it's actually not secret. So don't put anything confidential inside there. Like later on when we are dealing with the access for your private key or whatever, please don't put it there. So yeah, that's where we are. That's it. And then we just talk of example of multi-line. There can be multi-line like this. Now what about if I want this whole thing to be commented out? Just see control or on mark, that will be command line up. You see it, it created this sort of thing and then close it just like this. But in that case, one start at another line, just like if I do this, you see that it still works. You get in our hand. So this is when you have multiple line of comment, and then the other one is just, you understand, like that. So that is for that. So comment is always useful, like I said. And HTML in Web3, HTML structure is the front end of dApp and blockchain interfaces. Understanding HTML is crucial for creating user-friendly, accessible, and aesthetically pleasing decentralized application. Yeah. So HTML is the starting point of your journey into web development. Is the skeletal framework, like I told you, upon which, like human body or any animal, all the skin cover a skeleton of the frame of the body, which hold the body. Yeah. So which all websites and web applications, including those in Web3 space, are built. Master of HTML is essential for any aspiring web developer. Got need help for support? Check if other students have asked to get help and answered that has been answered. If not, ask it here in specific lesson, not Discord or anywhere else, except for general things you ask in Discord. So to get support, and don't post question about lesson 2 in lesson 1. It should be specific to that lesson. So that's it for this lesson. I remain Solomon Foske of the Programming University. Keep the program sweet and alive. Your assurance to succeed in the long term as a developer. And please always do good to humanity and nature with your programming skill and whatever skill you have, please, to make the world a better place for us all. Peace, and see you next lesson.